Good morning, good morning, good morning. Life is crazy. I was going to do this AM hustle a while ago, but I got really busy and I saw something that provoked it to make me bring it up again because there's so many people who are tripping out over the 1%. The 1%, they control everything, they do everything. Now, if you've done the math, the 1%, to get into the top 1% of income in the United States of America, you have to make $330,000 per year. If you made that, you're a 1%er. Or if you're close to it, you're a 1%er. And I think we'll just stop there. We're not going to get too deep into it and qualifying what a 1%er is because it doesn't matter. When I have people who come to the channel, it's like, hey, Glenn, how much money do you make? How does that help you? Knowing Bill Gates is worth X amount of dollars, how does that help you? It doesn't. It's not your money. You can't spend it. A better question is, how did you make that money? How did you grow that money? Those are better questions that a lot of people don't ask. Don't even think about it. It's just like, we'll talk about the hate of the 1% and some other stuff. But before we get into that, today is September 15th. We are getting to that point. We're getting to that point of only mere days are happening. And hustlerskungfu.com, the offer, everything on the site, everything that's coming, everything that's there. That offer goes away September 30th, 6 p.m. If you want to get in, get in. The links will be in the video or toward the end of the video, and I'll go a little more in depth when I'm done with my rant. Okay, let's chop it up. I saw this comment when I was talking about, I had put an educational post on my personal page, and people were like, one fool comes in. See, y'all in here talking about should you go to college and not go to college? You should think why the 1% has college so high. And I was just sitting there like, we've had this conversation before. The reason that the cost of college is so high is there is this huge girlfriend called Sally Mae, and then there's her brother, Mr. Pell Grant. All these people who are saying, I know you're 17, I know you're 18, 19, I know you have no credit history, but we're going to give you for school anywhere from $25,000 up to $250,000. Here you are. Sign your name on the dotted line. So there was this environment of insane amounts of money to people who were not qualified to pay it back. The gist was they would be at some point in the future qualified to pay it back. But since we have this $1 trillion education bubble, it's not really working out. That's the reason that the cost of college is so high. Because there was so much money flowing into college. Not that some people were saying, Mr. Billionaire, yes, Mr. Billionaire, let's increase the cost of college so these people can't go, or they're so mired in debt that they can't compete with us. Well, Mr. Billionaire, that's a very finite. No. Number one, I know that many people want to think that this is going to happen, but you going to college, you getting a degree, is not going to enable you to compete with billionaires. Now, if you say fuck college and you have this insanely valuable ideal and you start working your ass off and you drop out like Zuckerberg, then yeah, you could compete with billionaires. Billionaires are not worried about the people who are going to college competing with them. Anyone who has a business or been in business for a number of years knows college degree is not required for a business. So like that notion, that fallacy, that nonsense, that noise is just a part of a very poor thought process. There are many people out there who seem to think that by taking money from people you don't know and giving it to other folks is somehow fair and equitable. Now, if a system is in place where people are making money illegally, or going back to the days of busting the monopolies, when these folks got together like in rooms to say, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fix the price. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. That was illegal. If that happens, yes, that needs to stop, and that needs to be busted, and that needs to be corrected. But higher taxes, not in this country. And that's the thing. Many people love, and I do mean they love to point out to the free education of European countries. But what they don't like to say is, when you're in Europe, you just can't, you have to test to a certain degree. You just it's not like in America where, I think I can be a doctor, so I'm gonna go to school for pre-med. You're not paying for it. If you are in France, Pierre, and your test scores dictate that you cannot go to Polytechnic Institute, your ass ain't going. You're not going if you don't have the scores, since you don't have to pay for it. And this is why, because it's a public resource. They cannot be wasting resources on your wild flights of fantasy. You must have the aptitude to go to school for that. But they don't mention that. They don't mention that. And there's a lot of people who are in those countries who, if they had the ability of choice and they had to man up, woman up on it, and went somewhere else and pay for it out of their own pocket, they could actually do it. But see, this is the whole key. Paying for it. This is a big, big problem some people have. Paying their own way. Someone else should pay. School should be free. Okay, school's free. Who's going to pay for it? Are you going to pay for it? Well, I'm just sitting here saying, because one of the things that I love to watch on Facebook is how people who have no money want to dictate how people who have money should spend it. That cracks me up, because this is what's going to happen. And you could go out and talk to any business owner, pull them aside, talk to them in private and say, look, how do you feel about someone telling you how to spend your money that you maybe got a divorce over? Maybe you went bankrupt 2 or 3 times. You maybe had health issues, all these things that you went through. Then someone's going to come in and say, look, you need to give that person over there who's not as motivated as you a good chunk of your money. They are livid. They are livid. Now, I will jump back to some of the stuff that I used to think before I became a productive member of society. I know you're going, well, if you work, you're a productive member of society. Maybe, maybe not. Because one of the things about having a job, going back to an old antiquated term when I was in the military, shamming, you could sham your way for half your day in certain jobs and still get paid and keep your job. Not being really that productive. Being upset, disgruntled, you're in there doing your thing, you're not really happy. Yeah, you could do that. You could do that all day long. Sham your ass off and still get paid. But when you become a business owner, when you become someone out there trying to make it do what it do, you're trying to make it happen, where if you do not kill, you do not eat, your mentality changes. I've never even, other than doing this video, and I've read articles, people talking about the 1% income inequity. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, whoa. Income inequity? That would mean that we all are similar in intellect, similar in ability, similar in drive. If we're all going to be earning the same money, that's why every time one of those things that comes up about the minimum wage, I just like it's a bad idea. Seattle, which adopted the minimum wage, has the highest closing of restaurants in the country because they can't support those wages. See, this is the thing, especially for a new business. If you have someone that's brave enough to go out and create a new business and they have to pay a fixed labor cost for something that's not really worth what they have to, I mean, I don't really like the way that servers are paid. I really don't. The whole tipping thing. That's just, that whole model needs to change. It really does, because it's so ingrained in the culture that, people, I don't know if it's make you be nicer or something like that, but the whole tipping thing and how the restaurant model is, it's just, I don't know anything about the restaurant industry. I've looked into opening a restaurant, and when I looked at the stats and when I looked at what it takes, I said, fuck that. A restaurant is often a vanity business because there's so much that goes into it. And it creates, and because that's one of the big things that comes up with income equity, that if you have a business, you should have a wage that enables someone to have a certain standard of living. Because this comes up with Walmart, that, here's this corporation making all these billions and their employees on welfare. Now, I'm going to really fast forward. Oh, not fast forward. My mind is not in gear this morning. I'm about to put it in gear. I'm going to go back in time. When I was a kid, it was common to see these stories of military. There was this really, really sad story, and I'm going to see if I can find it. There was this young son of a soldier in Germany who committed suicide because he wanted more food for his sister, and his father was in the army. Let's see. Kid kills himself in Germany in the 1980s. Yes, that people in the United States Army who were on food stamps, who were not doing well. I have to think it was a very, very sad story. It was all over the place at the time. And my point is, there was members of the military who were not making enough money to feed their families. Now, this created reforms, but just to give you an idea of how this thing of income equity has been strange. Well, I'm not even going to say it's income equity. I'm going to just say that there have been many institutions, including our United States government, our United States Army, Air Force, military, Marines, that we're not paying a living wage. Matter of fact, the pay of the military has gone up and is pretty comparable, better than some jobs out here, because we've had all these wars and they needed people and they needed the best of the best of the best. But the thing with Walmart, and as someone who worked a lot of shit jobs, who worked for minimum wage as an adult, the shit sucks. Now, at no point did I fix my mind to go talk to the people who were paying me to say, look, I know you're paying me $6.25 an hour, but what I want is an increase in my income, but I don't want to actually do anything else extra. I just, $13.50, that'd be good. I'd be good there. Yeah, $13.50. That's what people are doing. They don't want to increase their value, excuse me, to the organization, but they want the organization to increase their compensation to them. And it all goes back to choices. I was reading this article. It's talking about how America treats mothers. Now, I know I'm going to sound really off base here, but having a child is a personal decision, not a national mandate, unless you're in China or Japan where they're paying people to have kids. But that's a choice. That's something that you decide to do. That's really on you. And we hear those things because I remember it was I think it was the prime minister of Britain, and his wife got pregnant, and he took all his time off for maternity leave. Now I'm gonna say, for me, I was sitting there like, what the fuck? Okay, there are certain jobs. There are certain jobs that when you take these jobs, you cannot live like the rest of the people. If you don't want to be in, having the red phone where you can pick up the phone and call a president and the president will answer, or his people will answer, or you could pick up the phone and call kings and queens in the Middle East and they will answer. You got that kind of job. You don't need to be taking no maternity leave with your wife. When I looked at that, and people are like, well, that's great, that's wonderful. I'm going to put it in terms that you might understand. In your town, you've got the best surgeon. His wife gets pregnant, and your surgery is scheduled before he's supposed to go on maternity leave. But she comes early, the kid goes, his maternity leave starts early. Now, are you going to be like, great dad? Or are you going to be pissed because your life depends upon getting the best surgeon? Yeah, you put in those terms, a lot of this social namby-pamby stuff starts like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, I'm just sitting there. I was just shocked. It's like you were the prime minister of a major power in the world. You can't be taking maternity leave. No. No. And I was just looking at that, and I was just in there like, this thing has gotten out of hand. When you take certain jobs, you take certain responsibilities. When you go in and take that minimum wage job, it is what it is. And if you work on yourself and you get to become the CEO, once again, the CEO of Yahoo, she's pregnant, gonna take 2 weeks. People lost their minds. Now, I mean, it was just sitting there like, she's setting a bad precedent. Do you understand this thing of maternity leave is relatively new? Back in the day, women, black, white, would drop kids in the field, tuck the kid in the bag, and keep picking it. Okay, I'm actually exaggerating it. That's horrible, but they weren't laid up for 8 weeks. They weren't laid up. I mean, it was literally gave birth Monday, next Monday, your ass was back at work. Seriously, this is relatively new, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Let's be really, really correct. It's not a bad thing, but look, we got to have some common sense here. You are running a company, and your company is just about to do this event, but family wants you to opt out and go do something else. And if you do that, you're going to miss the event. Now, many people say that family is everything. And for some people it is, but for most folks, no, it's not. And I'm about to break it down for you like it's never been broken before. You say you all about family, but you never see them. You all about family, you working 80 hours a week. Bullshit. You're not about family. You about that money. You about the pride that comes with saying, I can take care of my family. You're not about family. You about that money, about that dollar. And once again, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, when you say certain things, you should walk a certain way. I've put it up there because, when I was in the storage auction business, I worked a lot of hours, but I still saw my kids. And if it wasn't for the deranged notion of my ex-wife, I could have got them in the business. But she was such a bougie bitch about so many things. And all that bullshit, all her flawed thinking has caught up with her. She's in such a bad financial predicament right now. It ain't funny. It's just when and this ties into the whole deal with the 1%. When you focus your energy on things like that, and I think it's just a notion that people like to throw around because there's nothing you can really do about it. You could talk about it. We could pick it. You could march. You could occupy Wall Street. You could do all this stuff, right? There ain't really nothing you could do about it. And it's one of those arguments that you can, that 1%, that 1%, you can do all that and nothing really happens. Nothing. It's about where you direct your energy, where you direct your time, where you direct your abilities. And if you want to sit around after the straw man argument of the 1% and the income inequity, because the thing is, I don't know if I'm wired differently or just crazy, but it has never bothered me that this CEO was making 60 million. Also, you have to stop using terms such as filthy rich, obscenely rich, more money than God. What? Although that's jealousy talk. That's bitch talk. That's bitch talk right there. Filthy rich. If there's this notion that the only way that you can get rich is you got to do something wrong. That is from uneducated people. That is from people who are not really paying attention. Now, one of the reasons that we have so many problems in our society is we have people who do not practice responsible reproduction. David Simon, the creator of The Wire, he was doing this interview and he said something that was very, very pivotal. And many people, if they hear it, they will lose their minds. But he said, we're producing people we just don't need. Now, first thing that someone that's going to do when they hear that statement is like, oh my God, he's just saying people are worthless. He didn't say that. We have people being produced and there's nothing for them to do. There are no jobs for them. There's no opportunities. Well, there's opportunities for them, but the way that they grow up in a certain pathology in their minds, they don't think there's opportunities. So if in your mind you don't think there's opportunities, there are no opportunities. There are opportunities, but they don't see them because of the way that they've been trained and groomed. And he went on, and I was just sitting there like, we're producing more people than we need. And at some point, this is going to become a huge problem. When I was a kid, there was a show by the name of Logan's Run. And essentially, the society had limited resources. And when you reached a certain age, they killed you. But it was this so transformational ceremony but then when people found out what really happening, that's why Logan ran. It's like, I'm not trying to die. It's like when you got to a certain age, your little diamond flashed, you had to go. We are going to be facing those kind of questions and choices in this world because this planet is of finite size, space, and resources. They're not unlimited. And people, and we're going to keep having people and keep having people. And this is going to become real interesting, probably in another 50 to 100 years. Real interesting. But when you have all of these things of people who are being born, they don't have the proper grooming. That is the big reason. You hear the stories and you see it with the NFL and the NBA, these hard luck stories. And it was just me, mama, my 5 brothers and sisters. There was no father around. And at no point has anyone ever thought, why the hell did that woman, when in a bad situation, have 6 damn kids? You say that, you're hateful. It's just like, oh, you're a horrible person. No, that's a valid question. That's a valid fucking question. And that's one of the things, I forget this county, but they had this program where they were giving the birth control that goes under the skin, the little sticks, that there was some way they got a lot of women to take it. And then the birth rate plummeted of women who were unable to support kids on their own. It plummeted. Now, when you start talking about that and, you get into the eugenics and everything, everybody starts freaking out. But at some point, it's going to happen because when you don't support yourself, when you don't make your own money, when you're not building your own economy, you put yourself in the position of a child. And when you put yourself in the position of a child, you will be treated as such. You will be treated as a kid. You'll be a 50, 60, 70-year-old kid being told what to do, where to go, how to do it. This is what happens when you give up your freedom for pennies or some money or some semblance of comfort, which is what a lot of people do. It's just like, I don't want to work this hard. I don't want to work this hard. Now, going back to the 1%. I really, like I said, every time I see one of those comments, it's the only time I think of the 1%. You know why? Because I'm too busy trying to build my own shit. I don't have time to think about them. I don't have time to be mad at them. I mean, it's just, I don't really think about them in terms of, you know, that's really fucking unfair. They're making all of that money and I'm poor. I should get some money. Someone should help me. Someone. No, it's on you, boo boo. It's on you. You're born alone. You're going to die alone. What happens between those two hash marks, that little dash, that's your life. And that's up to you to put out and to make it what you want it to be. But if you are so stuck on other people paving, like, all right, I'll even bring this thing down from the skies to, I'll just bring it down on a personal level. I had someone do a video talking about me, which I had fucking removed, saying you should not charge for information. You should help people for fucking free. And I started laughing my little ass off when I saw it as I was typing into YouTube for the copyright violation. Person had the audacity to tell me what to do with my fucking intellectual property, or I should say with the property of the family trust, since I gave it up in 2012. Essentially, it's insane that someone would have that. It's like, you shouldn't charge for people. You made money. That whole "you got and I don't, therefore you should give to me" argument is one for bitches. If you are predicating that someone should give you something because they have and you don't, if they want to give it, that's a beautiful thing. But I don't think they should be mandated or shamed into, or, well, shit, a strong mind, you will not shame them into giving you shit. But that whole notion that they should just give to you, or, you know, this whole thing that I was just like, no. No. And people are like, well, that's selfish. You should, you know, you should give back. Once again, it is my understanding that a lot of well-off people give back, but giving back is a matter of choice, not force. I do a lot of stuff I don't talk about, and I'm not going to talk about. But I've had so many people come at me telling me what I should do, how I should do it. I was dating this fool, was like, well, you should go talk to kids. It's like, well, I'm not going into school with the ideals that I have because, you know, I've researched it. I mean, I'm going to school saying, you know what, little kids, don't go to college. When you're 15, 16 years old, start working on your business then. Start learning how to make business. Take 2 years out of your life, travel around the world. Do not fucking go to college. And I was like, I go in there telling that message, there would be anarchy. The kids would be like, finally, someone who understands me. Oh, I was just like, she kept on and on and on and on. It's like, well, you could do this and you can do this and do this. It burns my ass. How many people who don't have resources want to dictate what you should do with your resources? It's just insane how many people have that overseer, backseat driver, passenger, just mentality. Just this total mentality of you have, you should give. Now, let's have a better conversation. Because again, you need to stop thinking about the 1%. You don't need to pay them any attention because in the grand scheme of things, what they do and what they don't do does not affect you unless you work in a corporation owned by them. It doesn't do shit for you most of the time. And once again, this is the Hustler Mindset Project. You need to get your own shit. I don't care if your first 2 years you only make 50, 60 bucks a month. What you will learn will be invaluable going forward. Stop thinking about the 1%. Stop being like this little dog. The 1%, the 1%, the 1%. I was just like, when I saw that comment, I'm just sitting there like, you cannot live your life trying to live the lives of others. Once again, this is what the 1% does for me. I see people who have created these fortunes. I've seen people create these businesses. And I'm just like, that inspires me because it's possible. I think it's possible for everyone in this country to become a millionaire. I think that's possible. Billionaire? No, it's not going to happen. No. In theory, It's possible. It's not going to happen because for you to hit billionaire status, you're going to have to have a product or service that serves millions of people, or a high-end product that serves several 100,000. Not going to happen. But you can become a millionaire just creating you could become a millionaire in a small town, serving your people. Over time, you could become a millionaire doing that. And that is very attainable. It's very attainable for a lot of people. It's going to take you some time, 10, maybe 20 years, but it's possible. It's very possible. And I think if your energy and your thought processes were there, you'd be much happier, because I can understand why some people are despondent. I can understand why some people lose their minds. They wake up in the morning, they look at the news, and they realize, I ain't got this, I ain't got that, I ain't got this. I'm unhappy in a consumer-driven economy versus being inwardly driven. Like I said, I'm in a neighborhood. I see people in Ferraris, port all day long. I could be in traffic. I can count 20 of them. They're easily. This is all day long. And I got, like I said, a 2007 40i. I don't care. They got their car. I got mine. I'll see a nice Porsche. Sometimes I'll take a picture and throw it up on Instagram because the shit's hot. But I'm not envious of those people, because I know if I wanted that stuff, I could get it. See, that's the difference. I'm not the minimalist I used to be, because certain family situations dictate I will have to come out of that. But I still maintain a edict of, I don't have a lot of stuff in my life I don't need. That came from the storage auction business, after going through hundreds of units of seeing people with all this stuff, literally weighing them down, just literally stuff. So, I mean, recently I went to Goodwill and I donated 30 shirts. Well, they're too big. I wasn't wearing them. It's not my style anymore. And I got it out the closet, because it's just, there's no point in having that stuff when I don't need it. I don't wear it. I don't like it. Hey, I actually donated 6-7 pair of shoes. Don't wear them. Hey, get this stuff out of here, because people will clutter up their lives with stuff and wonder why they can't go forward. The baggage that you have often is the stuff that you have affixed this extreme value to, when it's not worth that. Just not worth it. So when you look at envy and, quote, the rich hate, now there is class warfare. I will talk about that in a minute. There is class warfare, but not in the way that you think. And I just don't envy these people, because whatever I want, I can get. That's my thought process. In time, if I want it, I can get it. So there's not this. And like I said, storage auction business just changed me in so many different ways. It just got rid of a lot of stuff. The thirst for stuff killed it. I mean, people come with a house for Thanksgiving. It's like, is this another dining room table? It's brand new. Well, it's brand new to me. I got it at this unit not too long ago. So that was a very different lifestyle. I understand everyone doesn't have that unless they're in the storage auction business. But that whole thirst and envy and hate is, you're burning emotional energy on bullshit. Talking about the 1%, hating the 1%, going on about the 1%, going on about President Obama, going on. That's not really going to impact your day-to-day life if you're living one of design and intent. If you are in the sea of humanity and you're just like, woo, they're going this way, woo, they're going this way. And my viewpoints have been the same. Occupy Wall Street. Got a video up here somewhere. I thought it was stupid. Really didn't go too far, because the same people who caused the economic meltdown were the same people in charge of the recovery. They didn't do nothing, because see, this is how power flows. It's just, you get to a certain level, unless you just do something insanely stupid, you're just not going to fall. Even including wrecking the world's economy. A lot of those guys didn't fall. They made a little less money for a while, and they went right back to doing what they were doing. But on the class warfare, now this is the class warfare that's happening. Everyone thinks that is us, the 99% against the 1%, and that's the war. And they have all of this wealth, and It's not the class warfare. The class warfare is those who have and those who do not. You, if you're listening to this channel and you've been here for a while and you start building a life that you want and start acquiring the freedom that you want, you will be hated because there are many people out there who don't have it, who are not living like you. See, this is it. It's so simple. If you, and that's going to sound crazy, have a car that's paid off, no credit card debt, and maybe your house is half paid off or almost paid off, and people know about it, you will have haters. Someone must have left from that house. Must got some money from dad. Your hard work, your perseverance, your sacrifice, your delayed gratification, that shit, get that shit off the table. Fuck that. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. No, this motherfucker got lucky. Got lucky. Fuck that. Fuck the hard work. Fuck the fuck the personal sacrifice. Fuck that. You got lucky and I didn't get lucky. And that's why you have and I don't have. And since you have, you should give to me because I want it. Now, that's the class warfare because there are more people who don't have than those who do have. And there's more of those motherfuckers. And what do people do in different classes? They band the fuck together. So if you are a person who is building your business, building some wealth, you need to stop fucking around with people who hate on the 1%, because if they're hating on the 1%, the minute that they think you have substantially more than they do, they're going to hate on your ass. You don't even have to be a millionaire. You could just have a nice house, a nice car, and you're financially sound and maintaining your shit. And that is enough to get people to hate you. That. Not even having millions in the bank, not having a patent on anything or intellectual property. No, that. So one of the immutable laws of nature is you cannot have what you hate. Think about that. If you are on Facebook and you see this 1% conversation, opt out, close your laptop, get off your phone, switch to a different thread. Do not consume that bullshit. Because it'll have you feeling some kind of way over things that you fucking can't control while you're ignoring what you can control. This is what these conversations, because when I see certain things on Facebook, I'm like, I'm not even getting in this. It's not even worth the effort. It's just, you can't talk to certain people. Certain people are irrevocably fucked up and they're not going to become unfucked. They don't want to become unfucked. They swim in the fucked upness. They just have fun in the fucked upness. They're just, I like this. And they don't want to change. They don't want to grow and they don't want to accept new concepts. And they will fight you tooth and nail on bullshit while will not put any effort on something of substance. I've seen people come at me on Facebook with all kinds of madness because I should think a certain way. My thought process is predicated on something that's very, very trustworthy. Statistics and numbers. I know that if I work X amount of hours in the right way, because you can do a lot of work, and if the plan is messed up, you're not going to get the results you want. But consistently putting forth effort works for me. Works very well for me, and I'll continue to do that. Sitting around bitching and whining. I put up a video talking about fuck white supremacy. The gist of the video was you can be successful. I have people fighting. Now, the beauty of that video is 90% of the people in the comments agree with me. 90%. So a lot of people are getting the message, and that's very, very cool. Then the ones who disagreed, they disagreed with passion. This one fool was like posting at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I wake up and I see this and I'm like, I am not even engaging with you, but I'm going to hit this little button and hide all your stupid ass comments, like I said, because if you're black, you have a lot of fucking special powers. I'm going to give something to you. If you're black and and this is how some people really get it wrong. When I was in the office furniture sales, frequently I was the only black person. That was it. And it used to hurt my heart. The only other black folks I would see were in housekeeping or in the cafeteria, some shit like that. I was like, damn. But when you are the only black person, you are extremely visible. And what do we want in this world? Visibility. I mean, you're visible and memorable. People will remember your ass. I saw someone maybe 2 years after an event, and then this guy in the airport was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I didn't remember. He's like, "Hey, you remember so?" Oh, he remember. I was the only black person there. Yeah, easily. You can use that shit to your advantage if you do not fall into this. Oh, we's blacks and we's fucks. Master ain't gonna let us get no more than a little few crumbs on the table. Not master. Master selfish motherfucker. If you rid yourself of that shit and actually see that this beautiful brown skin is an asset that can get you money, that can get you attention, versus it's a curse, it's a curse, it's a curse. It's not a curse. It's an asset. I remember I was at Neocon, probably 2000, last job, because at that point I was doing my thing. I was doing other stuff. Last job. And no, 2000, I was there myself, I think. I was there for myself. I don't know. I went to a few of them. They don't have Neocon here anymore, but it was so long ago. But there was maybe 6, 7 of us at the whole convention. You know, I black folks. And there was this one sister. Oh my God. She walked like a dream. She just glided. Everybody remembered her. Every dude was just like, I remember a lot of people. I made a lot of connections. See, your blackness is a superpower if you choose to use it as such. But if you choose to go with the, you know, that shit, yeah, you're fucked. It is fucked. I mean, it has helped me so many times. Do I have to deal with racism? Yeah, I deal with racism here on YouTube all the time. I'm removing derogatory comments. Okay. You're sitting there in the middle of the night leaving nasty comments, and I'm making money while I sleep. Who wins? Think about it. And you can use this to your advantage. I had someone who said, I'm not trying to be offensive, but I've never seen a black business consultant. But she paid me $3,000. That wasn't affirmative action. That was just action. Because the thing is, I had one friend was like, well, you know, you get lucky, said they were. And I was like, no, I built this shit from scratch. There is no other show or program like this on YouTube. Nowhere else. There's a blend of philosophy. There's a blend of commentary and sound business knowledge. There is no one else on YouTube doing this shit. Not like I do it. Nobody else. This is a unicorn channel. And that's how I look at my blackness as an asset, my super fucking power, not some hindrance like, oh, I can't do this because I'm black. That bullshit will have you in the early grave. And there's certain things that will keep you back if you allow general consensus thinking. Because there was this guy that was in the e-commerce group, and he just lost his mind when Obama was elected. And he spent 1 year not being politically drenched in his political ideology. Best year his financial life. Where you direct your time and energy is where you direct your success or failure. That's why I do not engage with certain things. That's why I don't watch Love and Hip Hop. I've never seen an episode of Scandal. There's just some shows my opinion, don't think represent black people that well. So I don't fucking watch them. I know I may be in the minority. I try not to even know about them, but in the feed, there's shows I know what happened because of the conversation in the feed on Facebook. And that's how pervasive that shit is. But that's my opinion. Just my opinion. So for those of you who are still here, I'm going to break down some stuff for you. I'm probably gonna, because I'm gonna keep this here because I'm gonna find out, because I remember that thing with the kid. He killed himself. I mean, it was international news. That's how deep it was. It was really, really bad. Really, really bad. I got a video that I did yesterday, and I'm going to, if you didn't know, I'm going to show it to you. I have the first day of 30 days to 2,500. It's just going to be on YouTube forever and ever, or however long. Yeah, it'll be here for a while. Let's just say it that way. It will be here for a while. And let's see, where is it? Hold on. Okay, that is not where I want it to be. There's a few things I'm going to show you. Just hold on a second. I should have had it queued up. My bad. Okay, here we go. All right. Let me show it to you. Let me give it to you. All right, so I've got the first day. Also, go check it out. And it's going to give you, 30 days, 2,500, day one, the beginning. Give you an ideal of what's going to happen. And this is funny. Now here, this is funny. I got four. I know why I got the four thumbs down, because these fools want the other 29 days for free. How dare I give you one day, get you excited, and then charge you for the rest? I mean, that's funny as hell. It's a free day. It is part of the program, and it gets to be really interesting because, once again, based upon what I was just talking about in this video, there are people who feel that because I have, that I should give to them, and I shouldn't really stress them too much in terms of cost. They really feel that way, and they will walk around and be like gnats, just flying around in the air, getting in the Kool-Aid, messing around with the meat and stuff. They're just real bad company to have at a picnic. But go ahead, check that out, and you can see if you like it. You'll get a feel for how that course goes. And there's other things. Now, let's get back into the Kung Fu. Essentially, this is the deal. You've got 15 more days. Yes, there's several pay periods in there, because someone was like, man, you don't do this right because my pay periods don't fall. I was like, okay, it's 31 days. I don't know how you get paid, but most people get paid at least twice or sometimes 4 times in the 31 days. So this is the deal. I've got this going on. You get all of this, but let's go back to here. All right, I got a 30 days to $2,500 special. And wait for it. Okay. Something new that I'm doing. Oh, I'm going to have to move that. That's a problem. That is a big problem. Well, let's see. Glad I clicked on that. Here you go. We can get in this way. See that player? All right, I'm going to have to move that. All right, but I'll do that in a minute. Someone here asked for the payment plan, so y'all can thank Mike Dunamore, because I wasn't going to do it. It's just like, hey, because I did this in 2014. This is the original, the first live webinar and all this other stuff. And there was a payment plan back then. That's before the program helped people make 6 figures. And those guys were business owners already. It just helped them improve their business. And a lot of people got their businesses off the ground. But for those of you who need a little extra help, and I'm going to explain the methodology of the payment plan. You can do 120 a week for 4 weeks. You can do 250 a month for 2 months, or you could do 30 a day for 14 days for you guys who get money every day. Now, why are the payment plans like this? If I have to wait on my money, there's going to be something called interest charge. That's how the world works. You can't get a discount and a payment plan and pay the same that people are paying right off the front. Well, in some places you can, but not at hustlerskungfu.com. Also, there are no refund on payment plans. So that's the deal. You can go in and essentially whatever plan you get on, once you make your last payment, it will stop, and then life goes on. And we will have to stop it because they had stops in here, but because there's these 3 plans with different stop dates, because there's like 4 payments, then there's 2 payments, and then there's 14 payments. And that may be open to revision at some point, but since Mike wanted it, we made it happen. So we'll see how that goes. So that's a pretty nifty thing. And you can go to that video, check it out. I'm about to move this bar Okay, that's funny. Now I can get to it, but I'm gonna still move it up a little bit and make this a little smaller because that was getting in the way of that play bar. But that's pretty interesting. But yeah, that's the deal. That's what's going down. And oh yeah, for those of you who want to know, because I get this question, everything. You get the Gumroad catalog, hustlerskungfu.com, the Hustler Mindset Project. You get everything there and everything coming in September 30th, 6 p.m. That is $1,650. And what else I got in here? I got a lot of stuff. I've been playing around with this. If you just want the Gumroad catalog, that's everything in the Gumroad catalog, $250. And that is just the hustlerkungfu.com bundle. Some other stuff in there. So that's what's going on. That's what's going up. That's what's going down. That's what's on the table. So if you want any of that stuff, you can get it. So with that, I will see you in the next session.